This operation, the APC designed immediately after the announcement by the CBN on redesigning the naira. They require the party harvesting names, account numbers, and voters identification numbers, bank verification numbers of citizens, and arrange in tables for each polling unit on the understanding that money will be sent to each person by electoral means to purchase their votes.
Yes, my updated family, as it dey hot, it don't happen. No, they don't catch APC. They don't expose APC. Wetin Peter Obi no go cause? They think say dem fit do wayo for Peter Obi body. God don't expose them. Yes, they say this pattern of ringing na they call wire. They say APC wan buy electronic vote. Make I not talk too much, my beloved family. Please share this video. Let the world see what's going on, and make we expose them. Make we know say we don't catch them already. Please, my beloved family, share this video, because they say after they make this plan, now make the concept the one redesign naira so that they go feel buy this vote well. Make I not talk too much. Make una watch out from the horse's mouth. Make una watch out from who this man will catch the show. Please share this video and comment your opinion.
Operation Wire. Further intelligence will have intercepted the ruling party's desperation to emerge victorious by all means necessary includes digital vote buying, which is codenamed Operation Wire. This operation, the APC designed immediately after the announcement by the CBN on redesigning the naira. This plot has now received approval at the highest level of the ruling party and its campaign organizations. Also designed in Imo State and exported to 21 other states of the Federation. They require the party harvesting names, account numbers, and voters identification numbers, bank verification numbers of citizens, and arrange in tables for each polling unit on the understanding that money will be sent to each person by electoral means to purchase their votes. Let me show you some of the things that have been done. You can see here, this is from our Mama 1, polling unit 004 in Oru East, Oru West Axis. These are the phone numbers of the people, their PVC number, their bank account number, their BVN. This is the local government of Governor Hope Uzodinma. Now they have harvested it and put it on a table with which money will be transferred in what we call Operation Wire digital vote buying. Also, these are the forms that are given. This is the one that are given in Abia. They call it APC Empowerment Form. This is the one that are given in Ekiti State. They call it Ekiti Development Front Form, with which they are harvesting the account numbers and the PVC and BVN of people. This is the one for Cross River. They call it Forum of Tinubu Support Group in Cross River. This is the one also that are using in Southeast, especially in Ebonyi State. This is the one that being used in Ebonyi State. They call it Support Group Coordination Southeast Ebonyi and parts of Enugu, with which they are harvesting account numbers and BVN and PVC of innocent rural dwellers. This is the one they're also using in Katsina, Citizen Grassroots Farmers Association, with which they are harvesting the BVN, the account number. And this is the one they are using in Imo State and some part of North Central. They call it APC Vote Canvassing Form, to collect the PVC, the BVN, and the voter card of the voters. This is also the one they are using in Lagos and North Central. They call it Women for Tinubu in collecting these data. And this is some of the account numbers already harvested. In Imo State and Ebonyi State, this plot is executed under the name of APC Canvassing Form. In Ebonyi State, it is called Support Group Coordination Southeast. While in other parts of Southeast, like in Abia, it is called APC Empowerment Form. In Enugu and Anambra, it is executed as the All Progressive Congress Empowerment Form. In Katsina State and other parts of Northwest, the plot is executed under the Citizen Grassroots Farmers Association. In Ekiti State, they are operating under the Ekiti Development Front (EDF). In the North Central, Operation Wire is executed under the North Central Women for Tinubu. In Cross River State, the details are harvested under the Forum of Tinubu Support Groups. In the rest of the country, the APC is harvesting details using the vote canvassing form, which is also being used in Imo State. Our intelligence is that so far, as of November 20, 2022, over 10 million account details have been successfully harvested, and voters' card details have been for vote buying, and that I showed. Let us again start with Governor Hope Uzodinma's local government area, Oru East and Oru West Axis, especially our Mama, where the following account numbers, voters' details, and other personal details have been harvested into the payment schedule and waiting for payment instruction. Names like Eugene Ikwama with Access Bank account number that ends in 3620. I won't mention the full account number because of privacy issue. This is it here. Now, BVN that ends in 5357, a phone number that ends in 4121, and VIN number that ends in 8570. Elua Matoni Ifani with Sales Bank account number that ends in 8928, BVN that ends in 8702, a phone number that ends in 5144, and VIN number that ends in 9260. That is how they have tabled these details in the unending list for 22 states of the Federation for use during the election under Operation Wire Digital Vote Buying. Nigerians will be hot if this election can be sold and bought like crayfish in the ordinary market. We call on the staff of banks to give us information anytime they see such questionable transaction of vote buying in their banks. We also call on the EFCC to be on the lookout for such. Any political party which desires to send money to agents should be compelled to send the bank an acknowledged copy of the official list of agents submitted to INEC. This will help forestall any unreasonable claims that are paying agents. It must also be noted that there is only one agent per polling unit for a political party. Hence, any claim that the data being harvested is that of party agents is dead on arrival. Again, we call on the police, the DSS, and the EFCC to immediately swing into action and arrest the harvesters of these bank accounts and voters card. If security agencies claim that they do not know who harvested them, we now tell them to apprehend the person whose identity are contained in these documents, and from there get the identities of who and to who they surrender their personal details to. Amuma Magic Plus. Gentlemen, recall that immediately following our Amuma Magic expose, several Hallelujah boys of the government in Imo went overboard, addressing multiple press conferences. While many of those persons were modest in their denials and lies against the facts we presented, one particular wannabe political leader resorted to calling us names in the most crude manner and called for the arrest of opposition leaders here, including my humble self, and insisting that security men must unravel the source of our intelligence. We wondered why a supposed deputy speaker of a state house of assembly will not be troubled by facts contained in Amuma Magic. Compatriots, we intercepted credible intelligence of his alleged involvement in the Amuma Magic. Today, we present to you Amuma Magic Plus. Facts behind the attack on the opposition by one Amara Iwayanwu. We find it difficult to refer to him as Honorable, the Deputy Speaker of Imo House of Assembly, and a very prominent political hallelujah boy to the governor of Imo State. In Mr. Iwayanwu Amuzi Hall polling unit in Dim Nanume ward of Wangele local government area of Imo State contained the worst compromise of our register. We have taken a look at the voter register for his polling unit and can see Kano and names from Cotonou. We now present to Nigerians a few names contained in the Amuzi Hall polling unit of the Deputy Speaker. The name of Adeyinju Victor, born in 1997, appears 6 different times with 6 different faces of both male and female. Another name, Edith, born in the year 2000, appears 10 times with different faces in both male and female gender. Nigerians now listen to the names in this polling unit. This is Wangele, Amuzi Hall, Dim Nanume. Now a new polling unit surprisingly have 1,200 registered voters. Names like Abubakar Abdul Rashid, Abubakar Hawa, Abubakar Mohammed, Abubakar Isaka, Abubakar Lovet, Abubakar Haruna, Abubakar Ibrahim, Abubakar Mohammed, Abubakar Dumi, Abubakar Tenaga. Now they moved over to Southwest. Okay, before Southwest, Adamu Salamatu, Adamu Unisa, Adamu Zanab, Adamu Adebenjom. Now they moved over to Southwest. And then where you have names like Deji Adeyinju, now you have Adeyinju Victor O, a grandmother's picture. Adeyinju Victor O, the same Adeyinju Victor O, different picture, another person. Adeyinju Victor O, Adeyinju Zvraya, Adeyinju Innocent, Adeyinju Victor O, repeated again. Adeyinju Victor O, repeated again as a grandmother. Adeyinju Victor again, repeated again. Adeyinju Victor. This is what has happened in Wangele, an Igbo dominant local government. Only 50 Igbo names is in their register. The rest, the 1,000 is Hausa and Yoruba. All the new polling units in Wangele have new registration ranging from 90 to 150. But this particular new polling unit, Dim Nanume, has a shocking 1,225 registration and 1,100 are fake. Our investigation has it that in the booth, only 72 names out of the 1,225 are Igbos. Other names registered are Hausa and Yoruba. And permit me to mention the Amuma Magic Plus on list in Wangele in the ward of the Imo Deputy Speaker, who is Hope Uzodimma's boy, which we have done. This spans also to Nnanano ward, which is in Nkwere, where one Chinas and one Eri and the chief of staff to the governor of Imo Nnandaye comes from. You have also Ward 2 in Nkwere, where the housing commissioner comes from, and other wards of leaders of APC in Boronu, in Yobe, in Kano. This mess is everywhere. So while we commend INEC for being courageous enough for publishing this register online, which has made Nigerians to see this shocking, disturbing development, we are expecting security agencies. We are calling on security agencies, especially the police and the DSS, to arrest the staff who carried out registration in the home LUGA and ward and the polling unit of that Mr. Amara, and ensure the staff and the collaborators are arrested and prosecuted. Like we said before, we also need action taken on the underage multiple registration and duplication that affected registration in most parts of the northern states. Operation Afternoon Raid. Fellow citizens, there is yet more troubling intelligence of threat to free and fair election come 2023. In yet another ignoble idea test run also in Imo State immediately after the signing into the law of the 2022 Electoral Act. It's another plot codenamed Operation Afternoon Raid. Nigerians know that the voting rules allow any person in the polling center by 2 p.m. to vote. Hence, in this plot, the ruling party thus will storm various polling centers and cut away electoral materials and officers about 2 p.m. on election day. With this, they can allocate all the votes in line with the number already accredited inside the BVAS machine to their candidate and upload some, thereby scoring unmerited votes. Security agencies are yet to question any person for the massive rigging of election in Ngokpala constituency in Imo State, where this afternoon raid was carried out. What they do, and that is why Nigerians must listen to me now, they waited for accreditation to get up to 11-12. Because if they have attacked by 9-10 a.m. because of the beavers, there's nobody that have been accredited. And if they attack late around 4-5 p.m., result is already transmitted. They waited around 11:30 to 1 p.m. and then snatched the beavers machine and took some of the INEC staff and then took the number that is already accredited and then forced them to write a result which they uploaded to the INEC server, thereby making it look like it's a legitimate election. That is why vigilance around this hour is very important. This is part of the consideration that the ruling party has resolved to deploy in Southwest region, in Southeast, where they intend to use this method and score at least 95% of the vote cast in these regions. Gentlemen, there is an aspect of the plot that we are working on but have slowed down on since the magic was exposed. Those who did not get the complete intel on that. However, we were made to understand that they were working on the belief that with some tampering with the technology, they would have accreditation number preloaded for them in various centers. Nigerians should be assured that we have our eyes where the APC cannot see them, and we are watching closely. This is despite the fact that we accept INEC explanation that the technology is tamper-proof, and we appreciate INEC for that. But we are dealing with political buccaneers, so we will remain vigilant. Nigerians still demand from security agencies a full explanation of how, and this thing I want to say is very important. I want every Nigerian to listen to it. If somebody can upload fake names, multiple registration in Boronu, in Yobe, in Amuz, the deputy speaker, Amarachi's ward, in Omum and so on and so forth, the question you ask yourself, knowing that the election is by fingerprint accreditation, how is that person planning to accredit the voters? And that is why the security agencies, it is their duty to find those who did the fake registration and then investigate to find out whether they have found a way to undermine the technology so that we don't run into problem on election day. Nigerians still demand from the security agencies a full explanation of how the people who uploaded the fake registration intended to accredit them during the election. This is why the silence of the security agencies is very worrisome. Nigerians are praying we do not go to election and magical figures begin to emerge from space. The security agencies owe Nigerians a solemn duty to also protect the offices and other facilities of INEC so as not to negatively affect the smooth conduct of the election. And it's on this part we also appreciate the Inspector General of Police and the DSS for the interaction they had with all the political parties, where they assured that INEC infrastructure going forward will be effectively protected. Clamp down and trump up charges. The opposition also condemned the use of magistrate court by security agents working in cahoots with the state governors to detain opposition leaders on trump up charges and sometimes granting impossible bail conditions. In Kaduna, in Ebonyi State, in Kogi, and Imo State, these provocative actions are rampant. Opposition candidates in these states are not allowed to campaign. Our Labour Party senatorial candidate, who from Ebonyi, and the PDP governorship candidate, Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwuma Odi Anyi-Chuks, and their supporters are hunted left and right on daily basis. Same with most opposition leaders sitting right here, including my humble self, Ojinika, Ame, and other people who are here. They have planned to adopt and use trump-up charges to silence us. Following our last meeting with the Inspector General of Police, We believe that the issues such as attack on rally venues and party campaign must be put to a stop, and that the private security guards and operatives being run by these governors resist their work to crimes and not be deployed to attack political opponents of the governors. Equal access to public assets must be granted to all political actors without favoring any group. Security agencies must ensure that this is followed. These security challenges must be brought under control immediately. Countrymen, no to the plan to frustrate and shift the deadline for currency exchange. Countrymen, the ruling APC cannot stop rigging. They seem not to understand what it means for an election to be free and fair. Their survival depends only on rigging. Otherwise, how can the APC party contemplating frustrating the Naira design policy of the central bank, even after the president has given his full support to the policy? The APC, taking advantage of his control of the House of Representatives, has drafted an amendment for reintroduction into the House of Rep. Let me see that amendment, the amendment, the draft, the law. This is it, the currency change procedure bill, where amendment 7, then being sponsored by Femi Gbajabiamila, Mohammed Tahir Mongunu, Professor Julius Ihonbere, Bamidele Salam, Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalo, Honorable Oluwole Oke, Honorable Amos Gamawa Mageji. While innocent Nigerians are rushing to deposit their money in bank, they are trying to make a law that will shift the time to deposit money to 6 months after the general election. Now, the APC is taking advantage of its control of the House of Representatives and has drafted an amendment for introduction seeking the urgent amendment of 2 laws, the Central Bank Act and the Decimal Currency Act, in a currency change procedure bill 2022. These 2 laws provide in section 4.3 of the Decimal Currency Act and section 23 of the CBN Act for a notice of 3 months by the CBN for the redesigning of the Naira or withdrawing any coins or notes from circulation. This informs why, by that calculation, the current note in circulation will cease to be legal tender on January 31st, 2023. But to aid the APC rigging machinery, we have been informed of the draft bill by Speaker Gbajabiamila and 6 other APC members of the House of Rep, which I have just mentioned their name, who want to quickly pass the law to allow for this notice for exchange of the old Naira to be extended to 6 months after the 2023 general election, meaning that those with huge sums in their warehouses can easily use those cash to buy votes. This draft amendment will automatically allow the current Naira note to be legal tender till April 2023, after both the presidential election in February 2023 and the governorship election in March has concluded. How can they make a law in retrospect? The CBN has already given the required lawful notice in compliance with extant laws, that is, the Decimal Currency Act and the CBN Act. Yet the APC House of Rep, led by Femi Gbajabiamila, wants to hurriedly make a law to effect the already issued lawful notice and extend the deadline for deposit of old Naira note to be after the 2023 general election, thereby messing up the anti-money laundering, economic and political gains of the policy. This is the extreme of legislative rascality, which would make it null and void. We therefore call on constituents of the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, Benjamin Okezie Kalo, Mohammed Tahir Mongunu, Oluwole Oke, Julius Ihonbere, Amos Magaji, and Bamidele Salam, who are the alleged sponsors of this bill, to quickly desist from this rigging bill. These members ought to know better. How can they propose an amendment with the sole aim of just moving the deadline for the exchange of the old Naira date to after the election? What are they hiding? None of these members have proposed an emergency bill for victims of recent flooding that ravaged families, or even the hundreds of thousands of victims of insecurity. They have not made any law demanding immediate prosecution of perpetrators of Abuma Magic or to stop other brutalities happening in the country, which is rampant. But they quickly want to amend the law so that some politicians can possibly have cash in their hands to buy votes. Clearly, the APC can tip the country overboard just because they want to win election. The opposition fully supports the Naira design policy of the CBN to the extent that the January 31st, 2023 deadline date is not shifted, and that the Apex Bank does not find the need to print the kind of cash that was in circulation before that aided currency storage. The Naira should be made to be scarce so that its value can improve, while improvement to online banking and payment should be encouraged to help keep track of money movement and reduce illicit cash transfer. We call on President Muhammadu Buhari to call his party men to withdraw the bill, or where they refuse, he should withhold assent to the bill when it is presented to him. As we speak, there are still more than 60 days before the deadline, and this APC House of Rep member and their masters still have enough time to return their money to the bank as required. Nigerians with genuine money do not need more than 3 months to put them in the bank. The people who looted funds are the APC members who are in power. Hence, the need to use the illegal money they have for vote buying. It is for this purpose we call on all members of the opposition in the House of Representatives to resist this bill where it is presented, and they should not be found aiding the rigging machinery of the APC. Certain APC chieftains at the highest level of the party have been working overtime to ensure that the January 31st deadline for the redesign of the Naira is shifted, and this tends to show that there is cash the ruling party and their candidate possess that they desperately want to deploy for the election. So while Nigerians are honestly taking their cash to the bank in line with the policy, the APC and its House members, led by the Speaker, Femi Bajamembla, are working hard to thwart the policy. Therefore, we call on the APC leadership to call their members in the House of Representatives to order. We commend the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele for this policy and at this time, so that as we enter into 2023, all dark monies in all dark warehouses will now have to come out and go into our banking hall. It is a huge blow to money laundering, corruption, and attempt to use those cash to buy votes. Lastly, how do we navigate some of the challenges ahead? In view of all these plots by the APC to rig the election, we hereby declare to Nigerians, on polling day, on election day, go to the polling unit, vote, and remain behind until ballots are counted and the result transmitted. And we repeat, vote and wait behind until the ballots are counted, winner announced, and the result transmitted, and agents collect their own copies before you can leave the polling unit. Nobody should confuse anyone with the excuse of having to go to any other place with the materials before they can transmit the results. Do not let anyone steal your result sheet and transmit stolen results. Let us also, like I said before, thank the heads of the security agencies, especially the DSS and the police, for the recently held closed-door meeting opposition leaders had with them, presided by the Inspector General of Police, where we express our readiness, both the security agencies and the political parties, to work together. We are praying and pleading that all the resolution reached towards providing an enabling environment for the election is duly implemented. The task ahead requires courage. The task ahead requires vigilance. The task ahead requires determination. The task ahead requires teamwork.